Good morning, everybody, and welcome. This is our May 15th regular meeting of the Mason County Commission. Mr. Salisbury, would you do us the honor of leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherlands.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Kevin Shooting.
Here.
Commissioner District 3, Terry Drexler. Here.
Item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. Do we have correspondence to come before us, so 4.1?
Yes. Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent a marijuana license application for Cannabis Co-op at 440 Southeast State Route 3 in Shelton. Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement Group sent in a letter regarding grant funds from the Washington State Recreation and Conservation Office. The United States Department of Homeland Security sent in a letter regarding the approval of the Mason County Hazard Mitigation Plan. North Mason School District sent an invitation to community health projects at North Mason presented by Olympic College RN BSN nurses. John Smith and Deborah Reese sent in applications for the Mason County Board of Equalization. Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent liquor license applications for Alderbrook Golf and Yacht Club and Island Bell LLC. Hood Sport Timberland Library sent a thank you letter to Commissioner Schutte for his dedication to the community. And Mason Conservation District sent in comments on the public benefit rating system.
Thank you very much. Item number 4.2, Oakland Bay Day. Debbie?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Debbie Riley, Environmental Health Manager with the Mason County Department of Community Services. It is truly my pleasure to read this invitation as a news release into the record. Oakland Bay Day. Please join us for this free, fun, family-friendly celebration of the natural and cultural resources of Oakland Bay and the surrounding watershed. Visit with local resource agencies, community groups, and nonprofits for more information and tips to protect and enjoy Oakland Bay and local wildlife. It is Sunday, June 3rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Bayshore Preserve, 3800 Washington Route 3, Shelton, Washington. It is hosted by Capital Land Trust, but many of us partners are doing our thing, and the health departments was the publicity. So please contact Mason County Public Health with any questions. Sean at extension 581 will be there to answer for you. And I wanted to point out that some mailers went out earlier this week, paid for by the grant, inviting people in the watershed to this event as well. So thank you very much.
Next up is item number 4.3, presentation of certificate of good practice. Commissioner Schutte, please. If you would.
Mr. Chair, thank you. We have a letter here from the County Road Administration Board Executive Director, John Coster, dated May 1st, 2018, regarding our certificate of good practice. And I'll read the letter and then we'll make a presentation to our county engineer. The letter reads, it is my pleasure to send you the enclosed certificate of good practice that was approved by resolution of the County Road Administration Board at its meeting on April 19th, 2018. It is suggested that you present this certificate to your county engineer at an appropriate time. That's deemed to be today. Certificate of good practice has been transmitted to the State Treasurer on behalf of your county pursuant to the authority contained in RCW 36.78.090 as shown on the certificate enclosed. This action by the CRAB Board will assure the continued distribution of your monthly state gas tax allotment from the Office of the State Treasurer. On behalf of the members and staff of the CRAB Board, I would like to express my appreciation for the cooperation we have received from and through your county engineer's office during the past year. We'll present you with your certificate. There you go, John. Congratulations. Thank you.
I wasn't asked to speak, but I'd like to say a couple
Please
words on
do.
behalf of the department. It's great that we get our money for another year.
Yes, it
That's
is.
the big deal here. But I can't really take credit for this because I came in mid-December of last year. But I do want to extend credit to those who are due credit. And Jerry would be the first one because of his leadership of the department and his filling the role of county engineer for part of last year. I'd also like to extend recognition to Melissa McFadden for her continuation into the beginning of last year, and then Sarah Greitz for stepping up as interim for a while. And so it really was a team effort. Loretta Swanson and Cindy and Al and everybody in Public Works, it put forth a great team effort to continue to maintain our standard of good practice and keep the money coming in. So that's about all I have to say about it, but thank you, commissioners, and thank you, Crab.
Thank you.
Congratulations to the road department and to Public Works. It's not easy. They have some pretty stringent guidelines to follow, and we have through our traffic diversion program, it makes it somewhat more complicated to make sure we're maintaining a good practice, and I appreciate everybody's effort on doing that. Thank you.
Okay, next up is item number 5. Is there any other correspondence to come before us?
No.
Okay. Next up is item number 5, which is our open forum for citizens input. This is your opportunity to come and speak before the commission on any item that is not on the agenda. If it is on the agenda, we ask that you wait for it to come up at that time, and you'll be given an opportunity to speak with the commission or testify if that's your choice. With that being said, please remember there's a 15-minute maximum time limit for everybody, 5 minutes per person. And so we ask that you please make it brief. And if you are interested in speaking, we will ask you to raise your hand, be recognized by the chair, come up and speak as everything is recorded, and please tell us your name and perhaps where you're from. With that being said, is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak to the commission on any item that is not on the agenda? That's a lot to say for nothing, huh? Okay, thank you very much. Then we will move to item number 6, which is adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded for the adoption of the agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Item number 7, approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of the April 30th and May 7th, 2018 briefing minutes and May 1st, 2018 regular meeting minutes.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded for the approval of the minutes of April 30th and May 7th, 2018 briefing minutes, May 1st, 2018 regular meeting minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Item number 8 is our approval of our action agenda. All items listed under the action agenda may be enacted by one motion unless a commissioner or citizen requests an item be removed from the action agenda and considered as a separate item. That's when you'd be given an opportunity to testify if you like. We will read each of the items to you, and then we will give you an opportunity to ask any questions you may have that may help you to decide whether to take it off. But if you want to testify, please just ask for it to be taken off, and we will move forward that way. With that being said, Commissioner Schutte, would you read 8.1 and 8.2? Commissioner Drexler, would you read 8.3 through 8.5? And I will read the remainder.
Mr. Chair, item 8.1, approval of warrants and treasurer electronic remittances. Claims clearing fund warrant numbers, there are none. Direct deposit fund warrant numbers 49738 through 50098 in the amount of $650,801.50. Salary clearing fund warrant numbers 7003606 through 7003645 in the amount of $916,344.35, and treasurer electronic remittance for April 2018 in the amount of $185,188.31. Item 8.2, approval to authorize the chair to execute the cooperative purchasing agreement between Mason County and King County, extending the right to cooperatively purchase goods and/or services awarded through one another through competitive bidding processes.
Item 8.3, approval of the resolution amending Resolution 85.17 to increase the utilities and waste petty cash to $450. 8.4, approval to have the chair sign the letter of acceptance for a digital imaging grant from the 2017 through 2018 Washington State Archives Local Records Grant Program for up to $7,000. Item 8.5, approval of a resolution establishing a Mason County Housing and Behavioral Health Advisory Board on housing, homelessness, mental health, and chemical dependency treatment to improve the health of Mason County residents.
Item number 8.6, approval to appoint the following citizens to the Mason County Citizens Advisory Budget Committee. Tamara Inger-Walson, James Sims, Cheryl Williams, Astrid Pearson, and Jeff Carey for a term ending December 31st, 2018, unless extended by the County Commission. There was a redaction of Diane McLean, if anybody has a agenda out there. Item number 8.7, approval to have the chair sign amendment number 2 for the Hood Canal Regional Septic Loan Program Interlocal Agreement. Item number 8.8, approval to set a public hearing on June 5th, 2018 at 9:30 a.m. to consider declaring Mason County Public Works owned property as surplus for the following parcel. Parcel number 42002-10-00020, approximately 35 acres on the corner of Highway 101 and Highway 102. Now these items have been read to the public. Is there anybody in the public who may have a question regarding any of the items that's been read to you? There are no, yes.
The total for 8.1 is, in case anyone's interested, is $1,752,334.16.
Thank you.
It usually is.
Yeah. Is there any other questions or anything for the commission? Hearing none, are there any items anybody would like taken off for a separate vote? Commissioners, any items?
Not for separate now.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of today's action agenda items 8.1 through 8.8 as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded for the approval of the action agenda items 8.1 through 8.8 as presented. Any comments?
I would like to just point out, I always like to acknowledge the hard work that goes into these action agenda items because we read them so fast. I want to thank our Todd Parker from our Community Services Department for putting together both a resolution that we had passed previously regarding how we allocate our mental health and housing monies, and now we have the second part of this whole process of putting together an advisory committee about that would review how these monies would be distributed. And I certainly hope that folks will step up, those that are familiar with the community services need, behavioral health services needs and housing needs in this county. I want to acknowledge and thank Diane. What's Diane's last name all of a sudden? Diane's
Our Diane, you forgot? Wow, okay.
For the she applied for and received the $7,000 grant. We have documents from 1986 through I think 2008 that we need to have archived, and I'm really proud of her. She stepped up, found the money, and we're going to have that done with the help of the Washington State Archives. And then I just also wanted to make known to the public that the item 8.8, we're holding a public hearing to put some lands in surplus, and those are if people are not familiar with the parcel numbers, those are the lands on the corner of Dayton Airport Road and Highway 101. We're really looking forward to this land being very productive for our commercial needs here in the county and hopefully the tax base, but depends on what the buyer wants to do with it.
Anything?
Mr. Chair, just for item 8.6, very grateful for the members of the community that stepped forward to serve on the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee for us. I thought we had some very good candidates and very good interviews last week, and so I'm excited to see that work get started here in the coming weeks, and look forward to their recommendations and the work that they do. So appreciate everybody stepping forward on that one as well.
I also will chime in on the exact same one. You know, these people that have stepped up for this advisory committee for the budget are taking on a humongous task. They're going to do a lot of work. Cheryl Williams is actually in the audience right now, who also has volunteered to step up and do this. Thank you very much, because we know what's involved. We do a budget on a regular basis. We wish you the best of luck in getting through it all, and we will be available for anything you guys need. With that being said, is there any other comments, sir? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. That brings us to item number 9, other business, department heads and elected officials. We will start with the news release, Mason County Housing and Behavioral Health Advisory Board, Todd Parker.
All right, thank you. Todd Parker, Community Services. In a continuous effort to improve the health and quality of life of Mason County residents, the Mason County Board of Commissioners has adopted a resolution forming a Mason County Housing and Behavioral Health Advisory Board. The advisory board will solicit membership from the following sources: one county commissioner, designated as chair, voting in case of a tie; one city council member; one board of health member, which is not a county commissioner; one representative from a social services funding organization; and Mason County resident, not employed by Mason County, but not to exceed one resident per district. All interested citizens must complete a citizen's application found on the Mason County website. All applicants will be selected and appointed through the county commissioners, and all members shall serve a 4-year term. The Housing and Behavioral Health Advisory Board shall review and develop recommendations to Mason County's Department of Community Services and county commissioners in the areas of funding prioritization and gap identification, which can be addressed utilizing available funding sources; request for proposals; to review, evaluate, score, and provide funding recommendations to Mason County Community Services to ensure funding is prioritized in the areas of greatest need; set community and program goals and ensure alignment of strategic plans; examine and evaluate the identification of goals, performance measures, strategies, and costs, and evaluation of progress towards established goals; development and/or approval of policies and procedures related to the request for proposal process, contract monitoring, performance, and corrective actions; and define opportunities to better manage services and expected outcomes. A report containing recommendations on funding priorities should be received by the Board of Commissioners by January 31st of each calendar year beginning in 2019, unless extended by the Board of Commissioners. Advisory board meetings shall be subject to the Open Public Meetings Act, and members will be required to attend at no cost to themselves. Open Public Meetings Act and Public Records Act training is made available by Mason County. Interested citizens may obtain an application on the Mason County website or emailing tparker@co.mason.wa.us. Applications will be accepted until June 30th, 2018.
Thank you. Are there any department heads or elected officials who would like to comment at this time? Hearing none, we will move forward to item number 10. There are no public hearings. So item number 11, board reports and calendars. Commissioner Schutte, if you wouldn't mind leading us off, Commissioner Drexler, and then myself.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Last week, the bulk of my week was spent working with the Washington State Association of Counties. It's our association for commissioners and council members from across the state, and we had our spring meetings. I was there as a member of the Legislative Steering Committee, and so the bulk of my work was focused on setting up and approving a legislative agenda for 2019, and along with the usual things that counties advocate for, which include helping with funding for criminal justice and public safety and those items. There was a pretty broad and lengthy discussion about foundational public health, and Dave Wyndham is here, and he's going to be taking a leadership role with our affiliate organization, the Washington Association of Public Health Officials, and so I think there's a real opportunity for us to collaborate with that organization and the Department of Health in order to get some things accomplished on the public health side as we sort of begin to transition to different funding models here in the state. Overall, though, very, very productive meetings, I thought, and it's also somewhat therapeutic to listen to commissioners from across the state and know that a lot of the issues and challenges that we're facing here in Mason County aren't unique to Mason County. I know that we like to think that maybe we are unique in some ways, we are, but certainly there's a lot of similarities between us and our 38 other counties in the state, and so just really good to hear from some of them and how they're approaching the same issues. One of the interesting things, we had a conversation earlier, or we mentioned earlier with our certificate of good practice, the challenges and complexities of doing the traffic policing diversion, and there was somebody had mentioned that they had been tracking data across the state, and 10 years ago, the total amount of road funds diverted for traffic policing was about $30 million, and we are now up to about $60 million of road funds being transferred over, diverted over to cover traffic policing statewide. That's a significant increase, and it shows that we're having to rely on funding sources that maybe aren't appropriate for funding some of those efforts on the public safety side, and so we really need to have a revenue conversation with the legislature in terms of how they give us tools and resources to fund those important needs as well. So Just really a very, very good meeting last week with folks from across the state. Looking ahead to the week ahead, Mason Transit this afternoon, followed by I'll be at a campaign kickoff this evening, and I'm going to try to make it to the City Council swearing in as well this evening. Criminal Justice Working Team, and then I'll also be meeting with Todd Parker regarding housing and homelessness grant funding that we have available here in the county. I'll be at the Early Learning Coalition Awards ceremony Thursday morning. Friday, I'll be attending the kickoff for our financial plan at the Port of Bremerton with our public works staff. And that takes us back Monday to briefings and our commission meeting.
Thank you. Last week, I also was in attendance of the Washington State Association of Counties meeting in my role on the board. And I concur with everything you said, and it was a very productive meeting to the point that we were done Thursday night, and we were supposed to have met Friday morning, and so we're all trying to figure out how to get off the island so we could get on with our life. Orcas Island is not an easy place to
County government, though, model of efficiency, getting ahead.
That's it. We were very efficient. I had the joy of attending both concerts of the Great Bend Music Society over the weekend. This is a phenomenal group. Please look it up if you're not familiar with them. Local choral group. You don't have to be a professional singer. You don't even have to know how to read music. Both children's choir and adult choirs who are they're going to New York next year to sing in Carnegie Hall, so here's your chance. But in the fall term, they'll have a wonderful, wonderful performance of the creation from, I believe, Handel?
Haydn.
But it was a phenomenal group. Please look them up if you're not familiar with them. I will have, after following today's meeting, Mason Transit meeting, I will be in attendance of the Shelton City Council swearing-ins this evening at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow I'll have a meeting with I'll join a meeting with the Sheriff's Office and our Behavioral Health Organization regarding use of some of the BHO monies at the Sheriff's Office, and then I'll have a meeting with our Undersheriff Travis Adams. I will meet with our Board of Equalization Chair, and then we'll have a meeting of the Mason County Law Enforcement and Behavioral Health Group, as well as a meeting of the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization, and then a Transportation Improvement Board meeting on Friday, back here for briefings on Monday.
Thank you. Met with Mr. Lewis directly after that last meeting. We had our interviews for the Budget Advisory Committee after their last meeting. PTSA meeting, a law library meeting. I met with Under Sheriff Travis Adams at my very first one-on-one with somebody from the Sheriff's Department in many years, and it was wonderful. The gentleman that they selected to be their Under Sheriff is very strong, intelligent young man who I had a lot of respect for. Listening to him, I believe he's about as straight and narrow as you're going to get, which is pretty nice to see always from anybody that's working for the county. Turning Point meeting, Turning Point, wonderful organization who helps women of domestic violence. I had an ARC meeting with the ARC director. Hiring committee meeting for the EDC, then a regular EDC meeting the next day. North Mason after hours with Windermere. I also attended North Mason facilities meetings. I serve on that because we were able to get them that money for the field up there. Well, part of that is somebody has to serve on their committee to make sure the public is represented on how they set up their times for the use of the facility. We had the ARC reception, legislative reception. Humane Society had their annual Sales and Tails dinner. I'm the guest MC for that. The wonderful organization doing a lot for our animals. I can't wait till we can finally get through and get a no-kill shelter built. Then that brings us back to briefings, and we do all this over again. Now, afterwards, I'm meeting Mr. Lewis again. I'm going to be visiting Coyote Village. North Mason Sand Hill is having a ribbon cutting. I'll have to attend that instead of the Mason Transit Authority meeting, so I will not be there at that one. Business competition for the Shelton School District. It's a wonderful, our students get together, they put together some business plans, and we go and judge them on their business plans, interview them, and it's a wonderful experience. I would ask anybody that likes entrepreneurship to volunteer to go and sit on that. It is very enjoyable, and it really makes you believe that when you used to run for office, it was The future is bright in Mason County. Whenever I see and do this each year, I always think about Dear Line. Our future is bright because these children are wonderful, very impressive. Let's see, I have our ARC annual meeting. I have a meeting of the Peninsula Regional Transportation Organization. I will also be attending the swearing in at the Shelton City Council. Another gentleman from North Mason passed away. Al is well known as the guy who was the tow truck driver, but he helped so many people. And I don't know if any of you will be there, but I will be there for that. North Mason Community Voice, and brings us back to our briefings and then back again. With that being said, is there anything further anybody would like to comment? Okay,
Hello, Commissioners. Michael Mike-Sams. One of my jobs here is I staff with the Historic Preservation Commission, and I had a news release that I originally wanted to read, but apparently forgot to get into the docket for today.
Okay, hold on one second, because we're at a different point. Commissioners, do you have any objection to that, or would you rather?
No.
Okay, please go ahead. Yeah, because
Thank you.
If that happens again, please head us in the beginning and let us know so we can get it onto the agenda.
I appreciate that. I didn't realize till halfway through the meeting that.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. The Mason County Historic Preservation Commission and the City of Shelton Historic Preservation Board are pleased to announce a joint Historic Preservation Month event on May 19th, 2018 at the Shelton Civic Center between 10 a.m. and 11:45 p.m. The Mason County Historic Preservation Commission and the City of Shelton Historic Preservation Board will be co-hosting a roundtable discussion for Mason County Historic Preservation related organizations for the purpose of exchanging information on the mission of each organization, developing networking opportunities, and the identification of resources in support of historic preservation projects. Our special guest speaker, Mr. Greg Griffith, Deputy State Historic Preservation Officer, will present the Washington State Department of Historic Preservation and Archaeology Mission Preservation Program and an update of the Washington State Historic Preservation Plan. The event is open to the public, and we hope to see you there. It's at the Shelton Civic Center on Saturday, May 19th, 10 a.m. to 1:45 p.m. If there are any questions, you can contact me, Michael Mexems, at 427-9670, extension 571. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Commissioners, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Am I making me a copy?